Welcome to Adventures with Capt Ray Kelly. This is primarily a drone show. We'll be sharing adventures from all over the world. We hope to have interesting guests every week, and we're glad that you tuned in tonight. We'll be flying different drones in different locations. We encourage viewer participation in the chat. If you have a question, don't be afraid to ask. Every week, we'll have another interesting guest. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We'll be sharing various adventures by our guests as well as myself. And thank you for joining us tonight. Hi, welcome everybody. Welcome to Captain Ray Kelly Live. And I tell you, we got an exciting show scheduled tonight. Really, I have two awesome guests. And if anybody has read the Facebook posts, you know who they are. But Sgt Steve Jones from the Baytown, Texas Police Department, and he's in charge of their drone unit. He'll be joining us. And then we have Mike King from Profiling Evil. And I know Mike, he featured a very important case that is dear to my heart on his live stream. And we've been friends ever since. So, and I got to say, Profiling Evil is one of the best live streams on YouTube, especially if you're into, crime and police and law enforcement. And Mike is a retired police commander, and he's going to tell us how drones were used in the Idaho murder case. So that's going to be great. But listen, we got a great crowd in the house, and I want to say thank you all for tuning in. It means so much to me. JC, he was number one. He comes from North Carolina, and he's always here. He's one of the loyal supporters that I have and Johnny has on the Fly for Fun show, and he comes to the South Florida Drone meetup. Actually, he was the first one to book his hotel room. He booked it like a day or two after the other one ended. And don't forget, the South Florida Drone meetup is going to be here before you know it. So, if you're planning on coming, book your hotel room early. But as you most of you know, it's going to be on April 1st, 2023 in Jensen Beach, Florida. We hold it at the Jensen Beach Causeway Park, and it's free to attend. And if you just tell me you're coming, I'll put your name on the list because one lucky attendee is going to win a raffle prize based on their number on the list. So, but you have to be present. You can't just put your name on the list. But anyway, and we encourage adults to bring children because we want to get them involved in flying drones. But anyway, there's more information on the Facebook page, and but again, book your hotel room early. The discount code for the hotel, which is the Hampton Inn and Suites, North Stewart, is SFD, South Florida Drone. And they gave us the same rates they gave us last year. And I checked the other day, the rates were $266 a night, but we're getting the rate of $139. So, and if you want a suite, it's $149. So make those hotel arrangements before the hotel sells out, and I guarantee it, the hotel will sell out, especially at that time of the year. But anyway, let me get back to the list. And Paul Brown, he was number 2, wasn't big. And Paul, you had a great show yourself last night, and Paul has the United States Drone Society. And I tell you, I'm amazed at his show. His show has really grown in popularity. Him and Chris do a great job. But I know I saw Al from South Florida Drone Flyers in the chat, and I saw Alicia B. How you doing, Alicia? Welcome. And we got Charles Hatmaker and Alan all the way from Ireland, Drone Views Media. How you doing? And Chad, Bedford County Aerials. How you doing? And Johnny Dronefly is in the house. How you doing, Johnny? Thank you for tuning in. And Bob Casey. Bob Casey's here. And I don't think I ever thanked Bob for sending me one of his stickers, Bob. But thank you. It's going to be going in a special spot right on my drone table. So, but anyway, we got Eat More Possum. How you doing, Brent? And we got John Flynn, Flying Flynn Media, and TJ Grady's in the house. How you doing, TJ? And Trucker Steve. How you doing, Trucker Steve? I got your name on that South Florida drone meetup list, so you can't back out now. So anyway, thank you all for watching the show tonight. But I don't want to leave the guests in the back room too long. Um, I only left a limited amount of shrimp and lobster back there. So, but anyway, I want you to give a warm welcome to Mike King from Profiling Evil. And hey, Mike.
Hey, Ray, how are you?
Good, good. Welcome. Welcome to
Great to
Adventures with
see you.
Captain Ray Kelly Live.
Glad to
Good
be
to
here.
see
Thank you
you.
for the invite.
You know, it's always a pleasure to have you on or see Profiling Evil when you're on YouTube. You know, you have such a great YouTube channel. Profiling Evil is one of my favorites.
Oh, thank you. I love having you on because you always challenge me with really important kind of topics, and I appreciate your law enforcement background and you're my go-to when I have a drone question now. So it's always fun to call and bug you.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I know I've been hounding you to get yourself your own personal drone, but I don't think you've made that move yet.
I was that close. I don't know if I ever told you my drone story. My son-in-law has a number of drones, and so I've always been able to access him to go out on profiling evil things, and if there's something I need an aerial image of. And one day we have some mountain property with a big pond in the middle of it, and one day he said, let's get out. And I have about, I don't know, 20 acres of wide open meadow, and I was standing out in the middle of that thing, and he let me fly his drone, and I
Okay.
don't know what kind it was, but it was pretty big and apparently expensive enough that when I went over to take video of the pond and I flew it right into the pond, he dove in after it to recover it. All the while my wife was up on the deck quite a ways away watching, and I could hear her yelling, you're paying for that thing. And
Oh my gosh.
so yeah, we took the weed blower out of the shed, and we ran the weed blower on that thing for about 2 hours, and it took off after that and flew fine. So
That's amazing that it was dunked, as they say, and it's still flying. That's good.
yeah.
I'm very impressed, you know. But that's a good story, you know. That's a good story, Mike. But listen, you know, you really covered the Idaho murder cases a lot on Profiling Evil. But the one that really caught my eye was that night you were talking about the use of drones in that case. And that was, I thought, amazing.
Oh, well, I hope that I got it right. That's, I mean, you've sent me off to get my drone certificate, and so I've taken all the tests, and I have that. But I hope I didn't say something that embarrassed you.
No, no, no. I mean, really, that whole presentation was very well done. I told you that in the comments, and really, really, I was impressed. And then you do the mapping also, which is very, very
Yeah.
interesting to me. You know, but I have it queued up, so maybe we could show a
Oh,
little bit of
okay.
that. You know, um, and sometimes I do lose the stream, and hopefully I won't. So bear with me. And Steve, if you can hear us, I see you in the back room, which is good. I'll bring you in shortly. um, and it's one of those things where they when I share the screen, I get so nervous because I used to always kick myself out of the live stream mic, but I think I got it down now. So if you want to narrate as this plays, feel free.
Let's see. I'll have to turn, folks. My screen is here, but my camera's here.
My office. I happen to be just over my right
Oh,
shoulder here.
so I'm pointing at the Washington Monument in downtown DC. I just working from my office on my lunch break. I wanted to throw together how drones were used in Coburger, but I think is the audio up? It's probably best for people just to listen.
In the middle of that police
Okay, yeah, you narrate. You do. Yep.
A few days ago. So this is an area where law enforcement doesn't really talk a whole bunch about, but as we look at this flight radar imagery, we can see where a drone was sent into the area and for a couple of hours patrolled over that residence, kind of watching and preparing things as the SWAT team and the raids, the team that was used to raid that home, were preparing to move in. Now, the thing that's kind of interesting is you can see the flight pattern coming in, and then, of course, that drone circling over and over again. Perhaps at one point slipping out to do either a battery change or to send a different drone in. But drones are really effective because they're quiet. They can hover or fly in a patrol pattern that really allows law enforcement to catch a lot of additional information. These things have been in use for a number of years and have proven to replace a whole bunch of really expensive equipment. In fact, in the state of Pennsylvania, the state police have 23 drones that they use for search and rescue operations, for surveillance, for collecting information that they might need for other kinds of operations. So they're really effective. And frankly, at the cost of a helicopter, you can get a whole bunch of drones up and cover a lot of ground really quietly. And think about that. Quiet is the key word here, because those helicopters, when you hear those overhead, everybody looks up. A drone is almost undetectable. So I'm sure that that's why they used it in this particular instance. Hey, thanks for your support of Profiling Evil.
So, Ray, is there an elevation where a drone can't be heard?
Well, I'll tell you. Some drones are louder than others. And legally we can only go up to 400 feet anyway. And to be honest with you, I don't know if the law enforcement can get an exemption and go higher. I don't think so, but maybe. But drones,
question I have,
that's a big benefit that they're so quiet. I know Steve will be talking about that when he comes on in a few minutes.
Yeah, if we get when we get Steve on, I have a couple questions in regard to some of the, I guess, limitations that he has that I couldn't quite answer. I don't know if you caught me on News Nation when I was talking about the use of drones, and of course, at that time, the anchor was convinced that it was actually a plane that was being used for that surveillance, which personally I had a hard time believing. I think the symbology that Flight Tracker was using to show that flight track from that device was what was throwing them off. But I don't believe for a minute that it was a manned aircraft. I think it had to have been a drone, and probably not a fixed wing drone, but probably one of those, I don't know, that you fly, like the helicopter kind.
Well, I got this Mavic 3 here. This is my baby, Mike.
Yeah, there we go.
I just love this drone. I really do. And it's the one that Steve will be showing us is even more impressive. The Mavic 3 Enterprise.
Oh, cool. Well, I'd be interested from Steve as to what those restrictions were, because when I was on News Nation, I suggested that, and I said, I don't know if in certain circumstances law enforcement can get permission to fly above that 400-foot level, but it's all about airspace, and it's about controlled airspace, and the fact that we could see on that imagery where Koberger was arrested, you could see commercial aircraft passing over. Well, that doesn't mean they're all flying in the same piece of airspace. No. And that was, I think, kind of confusing the anchor. And we kind of forget that there are different slices that are controlled different ways. And certainly we're not
Right.
going to see a commercial jet flying where somebody can pop up a drone under 400 feet.
Well, I think it'd be a good time to bring in Steve right now. Um, and that way that we can continue the conversation among us, and Steve will give us his expert opinions on things. And I want everybody to give Sergeant Steve Jones of the Baytown, Texas Police Department Drone Unit a warm welcome. And Steve, how you
Hey
doing?
guys, how are y'all?
Good to see you, Steve.
Good to see
Welcome.
you guys. Good to see you guys.
Hey,
You have
Steve, I don't know if you could hear my question. I was wondering if you are granted airspace above 400 feet when it has a law enforcement purpose, or if that drone that was measuring, I believe, Koberger during the arrest in Pennsylvania, if that would have had to have stayed at that 400-foot ceiling level.
I have never tried to get permission or get access granted to do that because I've really never had to be that high. If we're watching a house or we're watching a building, like if you're watching a building, say in downtown Houston area, and it's a skyrise building, you can go to the top of that building and then you can go 400 feet from the top
right.
of that building. But as far as residential and houses and stuff like taking him down in his house, I I wouldn't see a need to, but I would I would be curious as to if we could get permission to do that.
So
Honestly,
if that building, Sarge, is 300 feet and you're flying at 400 above that, so you're at 700 feet. I mean, you're getting into controlled airspace, aren't you?
well, it's all controlled. It just depends, on you. Those the manned aircraft have to be a certain amount, a certain height above buildings as well. And with our 400 feet, they still have to be another, I think, 500 to 1,000 feet above that for manned
Right.
aircraft. So
Yeah.
it's kind
Plus,
of,
plus, you want to be
I'm no
able to
expert.
you want to keep your subjects under surveillance too, and you really can't go that high if you want to get nice clear video of
Yes, sir.
this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Sarge, I'm going to quit asking questions on Ray's show, but I got one more question. Then I'm
No, no, that's good.
going to zip
No,
it,
anytime.
and that is, what is above ground when you lose the audio sound of your drones, for instance?
Right now, I'm at 100 feet, and
Oh, that's amazing.
I can barely hear a buzz. Just barely hear a buzz from 100 feet. And I've been able to fly over suspects and get down to about 75, and they have no clue I'm even there. Now that was with the Mavic 2 Enterprise. I'm not sure the Mavic 3 is that much louder. It might even be a little bit quieter because they're making propellers better
Yeah.
every year. They're making everything better every year. So
Hmm.
like I said, I can barely hear a buzz right now, and I'm at 100 feet.
So you got the drone up right now, Steve?
Yes, sir.
Oh wow, I'm impressed. And that's quite the setup you have there in the back of your patrol car.
Yeah, it's just I've got a little monitor. It's actually a gaming monitor, and
Oh,
so it gets a pretty clear
I got,
picture.
I'm gonna make you full screen for a little bit, all right, Steve?
Okay.
If I and then the floor is yours. So tell us all about your setup, Steve.
Well, this is the Mavic 3, and it has a 58 times zoom, which is very impressive. Uh, this is zoomed all the way out. What I'm showing y'all, I'm not sure if you can see the screen very well, but uh, that's our new police department that we're actually building right now. I'm kind of excited about that. That's why I wanted to show you. But if you'll look over to the bottom left, you'll see a little building with red brick on the wall next to some police cars. That's our old building. It's one story. It leaks. But our city council has been nice enough to approve a new building for us, and we've got a new multi-million-dollar building coming in. It's going to
Good.
be 3 stories, and it's going to be a public safety building that we will share with the fire department. So it's pretty neat. I'm excited about it. But if you'll look, I can I can zoom into that new construction area.
Oh yeah, look at that zone.
I mean, it's amazing, and it goes all the way to 58. 58 times
Wow.
zoom. So
I'm impressed, I tell you.
it's really nice.
The other thing,
Hey,
people in the
that's
chat, if you have any
fantastic.
questions, don't be afraid to ask the questions in the chat, and we'll try to get the guests to answer them.
Hey, Steve. So, how far could you? What does that 58 times represent in feet?
Yeah. I wish I could answer your question. I really do not know, to be honest with you. Um, I have some really
Yeah,
good drone pilots on our team here that are way better than I am. They're better pilots. They have way more experience and they do an outstanding job. Maybe one of them could answer that question. If I can find out, I will definitely let you know. But I'm not sure.
I mean that's
Well,
like
I tell you,
being three-fourths the way between the point where you're standing right now and in that building when you zoom in. That covers a lot of ground.
Now that building we're looking at now is about uh, the one that's right in the middle. It's about 100 yards away from me.
okay, Steve,
Right there.
we have a question, but I'll let you answer, Mike, if you want. But the
No, go
question is
ahead.
from Mac Bagwell. Do they use thermal, and what is their experience with that like?
Well, the Mavic 2 Enterprise, the thermal was horrible. I'm just going to put it out there. With this 3, it's amazing. You can get different palettes, and I'm just learning it. I'm just learning how to use it. But I was training with our canine guys a while back, and I was able to follow the canine handler as well as his canine, and they were tracking. We had another officer hiding inside a fence line, and they were doing some training and practicing their tracking and stuff. And I was able to follow both of them just using the infrared. And I'll switch to it real quick and show you some palettes.
Okay. And Kev Huffbauer, plays it here, wants to know if your body cam is recording us at the moment.
Unfortunately, not, or fortunately, not. Now
Well,
this
I
is
know
weird.
I'm very very impressed with that drone. And what kind of drone is that again, Steve?
It's the Mavic 3 Enterprise.
Right.
And I was trying to turn the infrared on, but there it goes. And if you'll see the vehicles, you can look down at the vehicles and you'll see the vehicles throwing off heat.
Yeah, sure.
Like there's a fire truck over there, and you can change the palettes. Like this is the red hot palette. I can go to a green hot palette.
Okay. Do you have a preference when you fly, Steve? The color,
You
I
know,
mean?
I kind of like the red hot. Some people like the white hot, and the rainbow's pretty neat as well. And if I had somebody outside walking around, it would be a little bit better to show you. But yeah, it even works in the daytime.
Dustin has a question also. Have you ever had to use the infrared, and what's your typical night op procedures where you have to use the drone?
Um, you know, missing persons,
Right.
or if we get a call to a burglary in progress or something like that, then we will get to the area. We'll find the officers and find a last known location for that person. Then we'll put the drone up, and we'll basically follow the ground officers that are in that location. We'll follow their direction and start scanning the area.
Johnny Dronefly is saying, fly over here in Louisiana.
That would be nice. That would be really nice. We're getting some good weather in Texas and Louisiana here lately. I can't
Yeah.
argue that one bit.
Hey,
It's
hey,
just
Michael
been
Blade, how you
beautiful.
doing? Yeah, I tell you, I find this so interesting, and I hope everybody in the chat does too. I know, Mike, you find it interesting.
I'll be honest with you. I'm more interested in Mike and his story.
All right, let's
No,
go
I'll tell you
back
what.
to Mike too. Let me change to all three of us. All right. How you doing, Mike? Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steve. I just think this is game changing for a guy who sat in the saddle decades ago. The idea of being able to put up a drone and fly it, let's say, to a I don't know, an aggravated robbery at a bank or something, and be able to start collecting imagery while you're still deploying units, or and those are all kind of still pie in the sky things, or to frankly what you're doing today, where you have a suspect that jumps out of a vehicle and runs into the woods, you're able to put up a drone and have uh, thermal. I mean, I don't know what I would have done with something like that.
I know. It's a game changer. And Mike, the people in the chat don't know that you're a retired police commander in Utah, from Utah. But maybe you could give a little background, a little bit about your career too.
Oh, I'm like Ray. I'm old, and that's. I had a great career. I was able to work 28 years before a new administration said, Chief, we don't need you anymore, and sent me out. And that opened the door for me to go and start working in private enterprise. So, Steve, I've had the chance for the last 16 years to work with law enforcement all around the world on deploying things like drone technology and using GIS to track those drones, or to create 3D images when you fly a space, and be able to use all of that technology in a number of ways. And so seeing what you're doing is really exciting to me. I just can't imagine what it would have been like years ago to have a homicide case out in the woods and be able to fly it and create a 3D model in a couple of hours time. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
That's amazing. You're 100% correct. I mean, I'm actually getting near retirement myself. I'm in my 30th year as well, and this is exciting to me. I've got a bunch of young guys that are drone pilots as well, and I'm the old man on the team, and I get just as excited as these young guys. But when I was a detective, we didn't have anything like this. We had Polaroid cameras. Then we went to the 35 millimeter, and this is just outstanding. It's wonderful, and it's going to save lives too as well. I mean,
Alicia B had mentioned that in the comments. She did.
Well, we've had older people with dementia and stuff like that leave nursing homes and get lost. And when it's cold, if it's cold outside below freezing or anything like that, if we can get out there and search and find, a person that's missing from a senior home, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's children as well.
It's interesting. I was in a PD a year ago in northern Utah. They had a great command center, a real-time crime center, and they pulled up and showed me they were deploying a drone to support the SWAT team on a barricaded subject in a hotel downtown. And he was on the 7th or 8th floor, but they deployed that drone. They had it hovering outside of the window from across the street, shooting imagery as the SWAT team was moving in. The suspect ended up shooting himself right before the team entered the hotel room. But I thought, man, from a tactical perspective, to be able to have eyes on that building so quickly, because it was a matter of 10 minutes, and they were able to have that thing up and starting to provide intel.
Right.
Yes, sir.
No, they're great. And we got another question from Paul Wedgenbig. Steve, he would like to ask what pre-flight precautions do you use, if any?
We have one built into our system, and it's a pre-flight checklist basically. And we check everything with the drone. We check the remote. We check the area, make sure our equipment's working properly. With this new, I'm not sure if it's on yours, but with the Enterprise, we have the beacon built in on the drone. We used to we'd have a beacon. You'd buy a beacon, sure light or something like that, and Velcro it on top of your drone. Well, this one comes with it built in, and you can see it from the 3 nautical miles. So it's
well, with that's good, because that was going to be this week's tip of the week that we give, and it was do your pre-flight checklist before you fly. And even the cops do it when they fly.
We have to.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve,
of course.
how extensive are they using drones down on the southern border to watch for people coming across in areas that aren't as easily accessible for the police officer to get out in a vehicle or something?
I am not 100% sure, but I am sure it's pretty extensive. I have a friend, the Texas Department of Public Safety, the state troopers, they have been getting shipped down there on and off doing a rotation of overtime work down on the border. And I need to ask them. I have a few friends that work over there, and they go over there and do some overtime, and I think it's mandatory. The state's requiring them to do it right now because their hands are just tied. They're full. But I'm sure that they're using them quite a bit because I mean that would be an amazing tool for that area.
Yeah. Yeah. We have
So are
another
you
question.
capturing? Oh,
Go ahead, Mike.
Are you capturing any imagery for the city? Cities pay a lot of money to buy flyover imagery from a couple of big name companies, but you're deploying drones all the time. Have you thought about setting up a patrol pattern and once a quarter flying your own imagery and getting updated high res imagery?
You know, they have another drone pilot who works specifically for the city to do their stuff.
Yep.
We stay strictly police stuff. If they ask us, we'll do it for them in a heartbeat. You know, but
Right.
they do have somebody that they use. They have a drone pilot that they use as well, and he does
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
special events as well.
We have another question from Michael Blade up there in Rhode Island. He wants to know if are there any FPV pilots on the police force?
You know, we have a couple. I'm not one of them. I would wreck it within the first 2 minutes in there. But
Yeah.
yeah, we have a couple guys that have them, and I just did I went to a meet up with some guys at our sheriff's department in Harris County. It's the Houston Sheriff's Department. I did a meet up with them, and they actually bought some Avatas for their team
Oh, did they? Okay.
to
Yep.
to enter buildings and do stuff like that.
Right. That would be an
So
ideal
it's
drone for that.
yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah,
And
definitely. Definitely.
our SWAT team has two of the Brink Lemurs. Our
Okay.
SWAT our SWAT
Yeah. Okay.
our
The
SWAT
brink.
team our
Yeah.
SWAT team uses those, and those are actually FPV. And it has like a window breaker on it. It's got the turtle mode where if it lands upside down, they can flip it right back over and keep going in the building. So it's pretty neat stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
No.
promise y'all, I'm not acting weird. I just mosquitoes are tearing me up.
Oh, is that what that is?
y'all
No.
are watching me slap in the air. I'm fighting the air here.
Oh, that's funny.
No,
That's
that's
funny.
a 30-year cop action there.
Yeah.
That's that.
Well, I'll tell you, Steve, we got another question from Ken Huffbauer. Place it here. And you have your own drone team, but do you ever reach out to the public for drone assistance?
No, sir.
Right.
Not for assistance. Now we do try to do a little PR. We'll have events and we'll set up a table and we'll show our citizens our drones and what we use them for, and we'll put them up in the air and we'll do demonstrations and stuff like that for
We're getting so many questions here, Steve. Johnny
them.
Drone Flyer, he's got a question. Would that find a drowning victim in the water? That drone?
Would it find one?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. In a heartbeat.
Yep.
Now it
Hmm.
just depends. I mean, the body's going to lose temperature, obviously, if the water's cold. You
Right.
know, if we can get them, you know, in that first hour or something like that, the body will still have some heat to it like that. But you know, you still have your zoom, and we can scan shorelines, we can scan the water. I mean, we can do a grid search over the water if we needed to.
Right. Right. And we didn't go over this. I was going to go over this, Steve, with you. But do you have like a memorable case that you want to share, or that you can share with the viewers? Success story.
You know, we had we're very new. Last year was our first big year doing it. We've had drones for a while, but they weren't really put to the use that we could put them to. But one of our pilots was able to. We had a aggravated assault case where shots were fired, and we got there. We didn't know if the house was clear or not, and we were able to send in a Mini 2 with one of our pilots, and he was able to clear the apartment with the Mini 2, and that was pretty amazing. He's a good pilot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
The
That,
interior You
Go
flew
ahead,
it in
Mike.
the interior. You flew it in the interior and cleared the building that way.
Yeah, it was an apartment complex, and it was an apartment, like I think a 2 bedroom apartment. And we were able to push the door open. He went in, and he had to use the props, the prop guards had the prop guards on there, and he was able to look in each room and do a circle, and make sure nobody was hiding behind the couch or the other side. I mean, of course, there's closets. If the door's shut, there's not much we can do on that one, but
So I'll tell you what. I mean, Ray, you think about clearing
Oh yeah,
buildings in the downtown area with cubicles. That
I know.
holy cow!
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. It really is. Yeah, and I'm telling you, I'm trying to keep up with these questions, and it's hard, but it's good. Hey, Lauren's coming to us all the way from Canada. He's one of our drone experts. He's in the chat. How you doing? And we got a superstar, Demarco. He's in the chat tonight.
DeMarco, hey
Yeah.
DeMarco.
Steve, it was such a pleasure meeting you at Spin Up. You know, once I found out you were a police officer, we sort of hit it off.
Yes, sir.
And you were telling me all about your drone unit. And since I met you, you have doubled that, right? The
Oh
drone,
yeah,
drone. Yep,
we had about 4 pilots, and now we have 12.
that's
So,
amazing.
and every one of them has a Mini 2 in their car.
Yep, you said you
And
were going to do that. Yep.
and then we still have the Mavic 2 Enterprise, and then we have this new Mavic 3, and we have some older drones that we don't use anymore that people would probably still be in love with.
Yeah, definitely. Are you going to be able to tell everybody about what's in the budget for your next drone
we're
or on
we're
order?
we're supposed to get the M30T next, so we're
Yeah.
excited about that. And I know Draymond Crawford has one, and who else did you say had one?
Rob Kamada, he uses
Yeah.
it for the fire department. Yep.
When we get it, I will be calling them just so I can learn. I don't want to do it on my own.
Yeah. No, no. I know that is an awesome, awesome drone. Rob let me watch him one, and he was demonstrating it at a fire appreciation day where they set some buildings on fire, and he had the drone up, and it was very, very impressive. It was.
It's really nice because you can tether to that drone as well now, and get unlimited battery. I mean, you can switch the batteries out with it tethered.
No, I know, which is really great.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So so Mike, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but are you going to get a drone?
I don't know. The back office keeps saying we ought to buy one, but I think they want to use it to play rather than to work. So we keep talking about it.
Yeah, no, I know. And plus, your sons have them, so you could use that.
Yeah, yeah. Again, keep in mind what I did with the last drone I flew.
I know, I know. But
Uh-oh.
you gotta get the controller in your hand, and you gotta fly again. You can't be
Exactly.
afraid. But it's funny because the other day I had a little meetup here in Florida with Al and a few other guys, and Al had just got the DJI FPV drone. So he says, "Ray, you want to try it?" And I felt so nervous about trying it, but I did. Not that I flew it like an FPV drone. I didn't, but I flew it, and I got it back without crashing it, so that was good.
I saw that video. I saw that video. That was good.
Yeah, but we had a good time, and that DJI FPV is quite the drone too. Yeah, but I'm not into FPV, so. But we got another fella in the chat. Mark Fisher's in the chat, and he was one of the best GPS drone pilots in Rhode Island. He does commercials, and
He's
you
amazing.
know, but now he switched to FPV, and he's really good at that also. So I don't know, Mark. I hope you bring those FPV drones to Florida. He's coming to the Florida meetup, by the way.
Nice. I'll get to meet him. He is so fun to watch. He just keeps it so exciting and fun.
I know. He's a good guy. Mark is good. He's got a great sense of humor. And I'm still trying to get him to come as Michael Jackson, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Michael, Mike, he does Michael Jackson impersonations.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, you better have him do your entertainment.
So
I'd pay to see that.
I'm telling you. Well, last year Mark was gracious enough to give an editing presentation at the South Florida Drone Meetup, and that was very, very interesting. Um, because anybody who does YouTube videos knows editing may be the hardest part. I know it's the most time consuming part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
You
is
know,
very time consuming.
yeah.
But Mark's amazing at it.
And I'm trying to keep up with the comments, so bear with me, guys. But um, I know, Mike, that you are very, very busy. You're traveling the world in your profiling evil endeavors, and now you're going back to work. But um, what country have you been most impressed with, law enforcement wise?
Oh boy, they've all had really neat pieces and parts. I mean, uh, gosh, what I was in New Zealand when the mosques were attacked a few years ago. I was supposed to be meeting with the police commissioner, and then of course the shootings started happening, and watching them operationalize in the middle of an event that could have been at multiple theaters was just so impressive. Last week I was in New York City. I was in your backyard. Didn't make it over to Suffolk, but later in the week I was in Washington D.C. I was in the command center at Washington D.C. and what they're doing there is amazing. Down where Steve is, just a few years ago, before Art Acevedo left as police chief in Houston, I was down with his team, and I just everywhere I go, it's like just amazing, Ray, and the way we used to grunt along, it just is so fun to watch what technology has done for law enforcement.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. But Leonard, Steve had mentioned they went from 4 drone pilots to 12 drone pilots, and they have mini twos in every sector car. So that's pretty good, I think. You know.
Yeah, amazing.
But listen, back to my little format that I have on the show, and I do a monthly giveaway. Mike and Steve, and this month's giveaway is going to be a T-shirt, Adventures with Captain Ray Kelly T-shirt, and um, the way I do it is, and you guys are eligible also, but I ask a question on my last video, more or less, or not necessarily my last video, but when I uh, when I flew with Al and we had a
You on a
little
YouTube
meetup,
show?
I had there's a pier and it was on the Facebook post, but there's a pier in that video on the beach. What pier is that? The first one
Huh?
who gets the
Yeah.
answer, the name will go in for the monthly drawing. So
I, I don't know that one, but you got to come up
yeah,
with another. You got to come up with another quick trivia question because remember the
I
$25
know, I know.
Amazon card.
We're going to save yours for last, Steve, and I appreciate that. Just to let the viewers know who don't know, Steve is going to give away a $25 Amazon gift card later in a few minutes, actually.
Oh,
I'm
sweet.
I'm Ray. I'm going to actually let you give that away for me, and let me know who wins. Contact me and get me their information, and I'll get it to them. But
Okay.
I have to cut off and run.
All right.
I've got to go to a roll call. But
Okay.
I
Well,
appreciate you allowing me to be on the show.
thank you
Thank you
for
very
being on,
much.
Steve.
And Mike, it was great to meet you. And
safe travels, Sarge. Thanks so much for staying in the saddle.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And y'all have a great evening. I hate to leave y'all, but I've got to.
Stay safe, brother.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. See what I mean, Steve? I mean, Mike, I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, it's all right. That's all right.
All right.
You're getting there.
There we go. Okay. But anyway, I was keeping an eye on the chat as Steve was saying his goodbyes, and Michael Blade got it, I think. He said Jensen, and that's the Jensen Beach Pier. And I have to, nope, I made a mistake. It's not the Jensen Beach Pier. Nope, sorry, Mike. All right. Now I got to go back. I'm going to have to go over the questions because I lost track of the comments. And I don't know how to do it unless it's on my iPad. Let's see if I can go back quickly. Mike, just bear with me for a minute so we don't have to drag this out. And I know you didn't watch the video, but and look at JC flying. He's just calling it the pier. No, we need the name of the pier, JC.
Sounds pretty smart, actually, of him. Hoping that you're not paying attention.
But anyway, okay, all right. But anyway, Mike, you don't know where it is. The secret pier. Look at this.
Yeah.
You know, I got a lot of secret spots, and that was secret spot number 6. But Jerry, I need the name of the pier, not the secret pier. All right. But anyway, we'll see. Somebody will get it eventually. And if they don't, then we'll hold it. We'll hold it till next week. Ray Kelly's Pier. Okay. That's a good one, Michael. Michael Blade, Pier 1. No. Florida Pier? No, Warren, sorry. But anyway, Mike, you know, I want to say thank you publicly right now. You featured a case that was very, very close to me, and that was the murder of one of my former partners in narcotics, and that's Detective Dennis Westerhoff. And you featured that case on your Profiling Evil live stream, and that really meant a lot to me. Thank you very much.
No, my pleasure. Grown to love those kids and of course Fran. I mean, you're the reason that I came to know them. So thank you.
Yeah. And you were very instrumental in getting that case featured on the Dr. Phil show, TV show.
Yeah, I had to call in some chits on that one, but I think he loved the show, and I think it ended up being one of the biggest shows they had in 2022. So,
oh, is that right? Really?
Yeah. That as far as ratings, I think that ended up being one of the biggest numbers. So, in fact, I think it was late 2021 when we did it because we were hoping that it would influence this new DA a little bit to move, but that certainly hasn't happened, has it?
No, not yet, but they say it's an active investigation, so we'll see what happens. But the anniversary is coming up on February 15th, so hopefully maybe we'll have some good news. Yeah. But anyway, you know, Mike, I want to say thank you very, very much for being on the show. I know you took time out of your busy schedule, you know, to be on, and I knew you would get along with Steve, you know, because Steve's such an easy guy to get along with, but he's a professional, and you know, us cops or we're retired, but you know, we sort of stick together, and it's a family, you know.
It really is, isn't it? Yep. Nope. Happy to do it, and I just appreciate all the support you give me, and anytime I can provide something in return, it's not only an obligation, but it's an honor.
Well, and for all those in the chat, you know, if you're not subscribed to Profiling Evil, please check it out and subscribe if you're not subscribed.
Absolutely.
I know I was talking to Johnny Droneflyer today, and I told him that you were going to be on, and Johnny Droneflyer said, what's the name of it? Profiling Evil. He said, I'm going to subscribe right now. So hopefully he did subscribe during the day.
Well, that's nice. Yeah, we just I just did a video, Ray, believe it or not, a 2 nights ago, challenging some of the people are really going after this young woman in the Idaho murder case that didn't call police immediately. And I reflected on my local experience with the Elizabeth Smart case and how her sister couldn't share who the predator was for some time, and that that thing has just really gone crazy. It's hopefully it's not making people mad, but getting people to settle down a little bit.
Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. You see something, say something. But you know, I just got to acknowledge Captain Joe. He got it. It was the Juno Beach Pier. So I think he got it first.
There you go.
So Captain Joe, your name's going to go in for the monthly drawing again. But anyway, so I tell you, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. Really, it's an honor, and I'm amazed that you all tune in every week faithfully. You know, Mike, as you know, on Profiling Evil, you see the same faces. You know what I mean, or the same names, I should say, and it means a lot. You know. So thank you, everybody.
Well, no, that's neat, and it was neat to see a couple of folks who actually show up on Profiling Evil from time to time. I saw those nice comments from Michael Blade. I've never known what FPV stands for, so maybe you can tell me.
I know I'm not an FPV guy, so Michael, if you could say what that means, or somebody one of the FPV guys, tell Mike in the chat. But anyway. Again, remember, come to the South Florida Drone Meetup. Mike, you have an open invitation April 1st. And
well, you better be given.
encourage you to bring kids.
Well, and I think you need to give Alicia
the saying that we have now is let's get kids hooked on drones, not drugs. So, you know.
There you go. And do me a favor, Ray. One more thing. You need to give Alicia B like a T-shirt or something, because she's been working like crazy for you.
I know. She's you know, I found her with you and Duty Ron, and we sort of became friends. And she came over, and she's been a faithful follower, and I appreciate that, Alicia. I really do.
That's awesome.
You know, and I'm working on her to try to get her to come to the South Florida Drone Meetup. And she might be buying her first drone. So, but listen, guys, thank you all. And Mike, now's the time for your closing thoughts or anything you would like to promote.
You know what? I would promote Captain Ray Kelly. I mean, I think you're doing a great job, Ray. It's always a blast to have you come on our show. It's an honor to come on yours. I appreciate your insight. And you know what? I go back to, I hope someday you talk about it on your show, but the things you've done for victims who can't stand up for themselves. And so thanks for your law enforcement career. I think of a little girl named Katie Beers this time of year.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Just happen to have the book right here. I have it right here. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so it was a successful outcome, and that's the
it's like an
line.
anniversary time right now, isn't it?
Yeah, the 13th. Yeah, January 13th. 30 years. Yeah.
Amazing.
But I have to say, thank you again, Mike.
About it on your show? Have you told people about that?
No, not really.
You know what? I think you owe it to yourself and to them on the 30th anniversary. You ought to Friday night get on and just share 10 minutes of your thoughts about that case.
Well, I'll definitely consider it. Maybe we will.
I think folks
probably will.
Chat there. Otherwise, he'll consider it into humility and won't say a word. So make sure you put in the chat that you need him to talk about it.
Well, like I say, thank you very much, Mike. Thank you. I appreciate that. But listen, everybody, don't forget Monday night is a busy night. You know, we got the World Drone Community coming right on at 7 with Robbie Gray. And then we got Lloyd, the grumpy vlogger. He's coming on at 8. And then we got Drone Nation at 9 o'clock with Ron Brown, Marcus Crawford and DeMarco Moore. So be sure to tune in there. And don't forget about the Fly for Fun show, 7 p.m. on Wednesday with me and Johnny. And we got great guests this week again. But just get out there and fly for fun and fly, most importantly, fly safely. And I'll see you again next week. Same time, same place. And good night, everybody.